What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Christopher.
and welcome to episode number 105 of Vinyl Bang. Jeff, what are we discussing today?
Live albums, because we have yet to do this, and it's a topic that we can pretty well contribute to. And figured, fuck it, why not? Could be fun.
Fuck it. Very fun episode. There's some bangers on this list for sure.
hmm hmm Yeah, live albums are always a gamble because, like, the audio it just depends on the quality of them. Like if it's actually any good or, and of course, a band 9 times out of 10 isn't going to release a bad live audio, but still, it's like, you know, it's
Mm,
always a gamble. Eh, Again, it,
sometimes.
it happens. It happens. That's why I said 9 times out of 10. But
Yeah. No, there's some stories to tell today in this episode for sure, but let's not waste any more time. Jeff, what you got?
well, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with an odd format, a dead format that we don't normally discuss on Vinyl Bank. So last week or a week or a month or year ago, whatever it was, whenever Nick was telling me the last two episodes that we did together, that I did not mention Mike Patton. Go ahead and cure that fucking problem right now. I'm gonna start off with there's a story behind this particular CD. Um, Whenever my wife and I first got together 20 years ago, we decided that we were going to take the CD artwork for all of the Mike Patton projects I had, and we were going to put it in like a collage, like a frame type thing. And it's been years since we did this, and we can't find the fucking where we hid all of the covers. So I have no cover for this CD, but I have
Oh,
the CD.
no.
I have the disc itself. I have the audio providing piece of plastic. So we're just going to go with this. I'm going to start off with something that needs to be pressed on vinyl. This is one of the things that I'm hoping I can work my magic with this show, since we've ironically, there's been albums pressed on vinyl or certain things
Multiple.
pressed on vinyl that would never have happened, we don't believe, if it weren't for Vinyl Bang. So I'm going to start off with a live compilation or a live performance from New Year's of 2000. This is Phantomas and Melvins Millennium Monster Work 2000. This is a of course, collaboration between Phantomas and Melvins. The Phantomas Melvins big band, which it's known as. They performed many, many, many times throughout the years. I've never seen it. I've never seen the two bands performing together, but this particular show is a banger. As Nick mentioned earlier, that we have some bangers on this episode, and this is something that I've always loved. I love the quality of this audio. I really think it should be released on vinyl. But to go ahead and knock two things out of the park, first off, mentioning Mike Patton because I love him, and just go ahead and get the dead format out of the way. CD
So
Phantomas.
this is a collaboration between them two. It's not a split.
It's yeah, no, it's all like 10 members performing together. So it's
Holy shit.
Dave Lombardo and Dale Crover both on drums, um, Buzz from Melvins, and
What's
no
that guy's name?
Buzz,
Who
because
does the vocals?
Buzz is Melvins and Buzz is Phantomas. So but it's a collaboration of all of both bands together. Yes. So, and it's fun, and they've released DVDs, and there's been several different things that they've released as this project. But yeah,
Pre-orders for the vinyl go on sale tomorrow morning.
thankfully,
Um, yeah, we do have that stroke on this show, don't we? We talk about something and then bam,
it
it comes
magically
out. So
appears.
yeah, so that'll be pretty fucking awesome.
Yep.
All right. Uh, first thing I got here, and then I just want to show off here some Mike Patton for my buddy Jeff. I wore this specifically for Jeff because I didn't think he was going to mention Patton, but of course he did. First record I'm going to talk about is this was a record store day release. I don't remember how many years ago. Alice in Chains live facelift. In the 90s, there was a VHS of this, and the audio was pretty damn good. So they decided years later to put it on vinyl. It comes on this pretty clear red vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess at the time, Facelift was it was the only thing they had out. So it ain't like that. Man in the Box, Real Thing, Love Hate Love, Sea of Sorrow, and Bleed the Freak. Pretty cool compilation of songs. Again, like they did release a live album in like I think 2001. I was working at Tower Records. It's not available on vinyl. I was looking for it relentlessly the other day. There are bootlegs of it, and that's actually a really cool live album. There's this the way they go from Angry Chair to Man in the Box is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But this was my first choice. This is, Jeff and I both have a never-ending love for this band, and I felt like I've never talked about this on the show, but I felt like this needed to be brought up at some point because this is a great sounding live album, and unfortunately the resale on it's pretty fucking high on Discogs, which I'm not happy about because I would love to own another copy, but you know it is
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
I'd love to have that. I would actually
Came with
love
a
to have
poster
that.
and a sticker,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I gave the poster to one of my friends, so it probably devalues my copy. But
Well, that was nice of you.
shout out to my buddy Nathan, who's a huge Alice in Chains fan. I gifted it to him at one point because I figured why the hell not. But yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very cool.
yes sir.
All right. Well, keeping up with the with the mentioning, Mike. I'll wait for you to notice. I don't know if you're not even paying attention. You haven't even noticed yet. So I'm just going to keep rolling. So the next album I'm going to talk about is one from my childhood. Bought this live CD the day it came out back in 1994. Yeah, because it was after Kurt had died. Muddy Nirvana from the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. This particular copy was purchased from the Sub Pop store, the sub store in the airport. I did that wrong. From the airport in Seattle, Washington. I actually bought this from Sub Pop in Seattle. Um, I think this was the only Nirvana thing I bought from Sub Pop that day. But anyway, very excited to have this on vinyl. This was one thing that I absolutely wanted to have uh, because of the nostalgia aspect of it. Just having it as a teenager, and the audio on this is okay. It's not superb. It's not Nirvana is one of those bands that they're one of those 1 out of 10 that released some shitty audio. Whether it was bootlegs or whatever. Not officially, Nirvana officially releasing it, but there's a lot of shitty Nirvana audio. I guess on the from the or with the lights out, the box set, there's some shitty audio on there, but
Absolutely,
either way,
absolutely.
either way, I am stoked to have from the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. Um, three. Okay. Here. This is something that I'm not sure about because they only list 3 sides, and side 4, it doesn't have anything listed. So let's see if there's something on side 4. No, it's just a blank. Fucking no etchings, no nothing. Just nothing on side 4. I guess they just ran out of shit to put on vinyl. So yeah, just tracks on sides 1, 2, and 3, and absolutely nothing on side 4, which is okay. I mean, wasted space, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's all right. So have you noticed yet, Nick?
Yeah, that's cute what you did with your name there.
I'll change it back, but I just
Um,
wanted to make up for lost
what's going on here?
time.
I remember when that live album came out. I was super stoked about it. Little known fact: he lived under a bridge at the Muddy Banks of Wishkah, which is where the lyrics from, which is what "Something in the Way" is about.
Something in the way.
Um, so two stories about that album. Those are all songs pulled from different live shows, so that's why like some of the audio on there sounds amazing. Some of it's like a little iffy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right with the lights out. That box set, they pulled everything that they had in the archives of Kurt. So they, I guess, his child and Courtney went through all this stuff, and like there's a lot of stuff that just didn't need to be on there. Like those little demos and skits that he has. Like I just was like, why did they put this shit on here? But when that live album came out, I was really stoked because at the time the only thing I had was that bootleg of their very last show from Roma. Um, one of my favorite tracks of all time is the version of Blue that's on that live album. It's something that I can listen to on repeat for days. It's just a really good recording of one of my favorite Nirvana songs, and
Sure.
I did not know that it was pressed on vinyl. It's pretty rad that you have that, and I'm not surprised that you have that. It's good stuff. You are the ultimate Nirvana fan. I always thought I was, but I just at some point that the live from the Paramount. There's so much. They put out so many live albums to the point where I'm like, unless there's a song that I've never heard them perform before, I don't care anymore. But um, sometimes you get a good, nice, crisp sounding recording of a song that
Hmm.
may not be one of their more popular ones, but like I said, Blue on that record sounds fucking great. So
Oh yeah.
kudos to you, sir. That's a great pick there. There you go.
Thank you.
Pat yourself. Do one of these for yourself real quick, Jeff. Yeah, you pat yourself on the back. There you go. All right. All right. Enough of that shit.
Just get all of it going.
My next pick, I'm going in alphabetical order because I looked through my discogs about what live albums I have, but I chose Bad Brains Live. This is a live album that they put out in 1988. Is it? Yeah. What? Huh? Yeah, 1988. SST Records put this out. Um, Coincidentally, this is going to be the live album that they're about to release on Record Store Day this year. The only difference is, where is it? Well, it's not on here, but the CD that I had of this said that Day Tripper was on here, and it wasn't. So this new version that it's about to come out on Record Store Day is going to have Day Tripper, which is a Beatles cover. Um, the version of I and I Survive on here is so fucking good. That's one of their reggae songs that they perform. But this is probably my second favorite, all time favorite live album. The recording is just so crisp and so great. And if you're a Bad Brains fan, this is a must have. I feel like. But yeah, like I said, in April, they on Record Store Day, they are going to re-release this, and hopefully, it's going to have their cover of the Beatles' "Day Tripper." So
I hope so. That would be cool. Have you heard that their cover?
I have heard them do it. There's like a video of them performing at some beach. I think it's like Daytona or something like that, and they perform it on there.
Hmm.
And but that to have a complete version finally. I had a color pressing of this years ago, and I sent it off to a professional wrestler who was a big Bad Brains fan as well, which he was very grateful for. But yeah, and then I also had a second copy, which this is just standard black, but I think the other version I had was like translucent green. So I have no idea what this Record Store Day release is going to be. It's probably going to be on standard black again, like the Live at the Bayou that I got back in November,
Hmm.
whenever the last Record Store Day was.
Yeah, it was, yeah, November.
Right.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh God, it's me now. Okay, okay. So up next, um, it's been a while since we've talked about this band, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Pig Destroyer. They're Pornographers of Sound, which was recorded by our good friend Frank Wang
Shut
in
up, Frank.
Brooklyn. Dude, love Frank. We gotta get him on the show.
We do. We absolutely do.
He probably won't do it though. I don't know. We could be very persuasive unless your name's Scott Hull or Steve Goldberg, then maybe you'll do our show.
Shots
So
fired.
this, yeah, no pressure now, guys. So this was pressed on two different pressings. I didn't grab my regular pressing. I just grabbed the clear because it's sitting. All of my clears are like literally right next to me. But
Hell yeah.
this is the relapse clear, limited to 100 friends and family.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this recording is really good. This is one of the superb audio because Frank doesn't fuck around. Frank
Nope.
gets the good stuff, and Frank
He's the
and
Frank is the real
especially
deal.
he is Frank is absolutely the real deal. And the band themselves would not have gone to such an extent if it wasn't top quality. You know what I'm saying? Like the band wouldn't have they would have been okay with like a digital release, but for it to be pressed to vinyl, like it had to be top shelf, which is probably why they reached out to Frank to begin with. But yeah, Pig Destroyer. Let's get that out of the sleeve so you can probably see that a little there. Pornographers of Sound, very gross, very very disturbing imagery. But yeah, shout out to the boys and Pig Destroyer.
Live from St. Vitus Bar, Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
So, real quick story behind that album. Pig Destroyer did a Pig Destroyer weekend in Baltimore, and they did a Pig Destroyer weekend in Brooklyn. They recorded both shows in Baltimore that you and I were at. You and I recorded,
Hmm.
and as J.R. Hayes would say, Scott poo-pooed that idea. Scott's the one who, if it doesn't sound good to him, he's going to shoot it down. And I guess at the Metro Gallery, he didn't have the right acoustics, and Scott just wasn't happy with that recording.
Right.
So when they went to do the weekend in Brooklyn, obviously, it's a much smaller room, and Frank captured the perfect sound that weekend, and it's awesome. I'm very happy that they, a grindcore band putting out a live album. That's very unusual, but if it didn't sound good, Scott would not have approved it.
Right.
So,
Right.
um, cool that you have that. I do not have the clear pressing of that because I suck. But yeah, man. Shout out to Pig Destroyer. Shout out Jr. Scott Shaw, Adam, Travis, all those guys. Scott, we're gonna hold you to it when that new
And
album
Blake
comes out.
because it was
And
him
shout out to Blake
on the album. Rest
for
in peace,
sure.
brother.
Yeah, rest in peace, buddy. Miss you.
Yeah,
All right,
rascal.
you rascal. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a live Converge album. I don't remember where they recorded this. I could look it up in a second, but it's Jane Live, and they released a bunch of different covers. This one was done by our good friend John Dyer Baisley of Baroness. Um, Everybody did their like rendition of the Jane Doe cover, and this is, if you're familiar with John and how like great of a fucking artist he is, was his version of it. Every version came with like a different cover by a different artist and a different pressing. John's was this green vinyl. It's all dirty and shit. Um, it's Jane Doe performed in its entirety. Concubine, Fractured, Fulton Fractured, Distance Meeting, Hell to Pay, Homewrecker, Broken Bow, Bitter, and then some. Heaven in Her Arms, Phoenix in Flight, Phoenix in Flames, Thaw, and Jane Doe. I'm having a hard time putting this back in the fucking sleeve because I suck. Um, the back of it, is it a gatefold? Oh, it is.
Hmm.
Oh, that shit.
Oh, you're getting ready to lose one. There you go.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, I didn't want you to
Not the,
drop that.
it was performed at Roadburn Festival in 2016. So this is a 10-year-old album. Yeah, this is probably my favorite Converge album. I've been listening to their new album a lot lately because I guess it has been 10 years since they last released a full length, and
Hmm.
not bad. I'm not. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I felt like this was the pinnacle for Converge. This is when, before Jane Doe came out, I felt like their music was a little all over the place, and then they wrote this album, and everything was a little bit more like proper, to say the least. But
Hmm.
yeah, I've seen them perform this album live at in Philadelphia at one of the Decibel Beer and Metal Fest. Um, Good stuff. Like this is again the main reason I bought this pressing because our good friend John Dyer Baisley drew this cover. I'm a big fan of John and Baroness, and anything he does, I'd like to own because that guy he fucking rules.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome artist.
And then
That's a good
real
album.
quick,
I've never been huge into Converge, but that album is a good album for sure.
lots of people have that tattooed on them. Shout out James Watson. He's got that on, I think, on his hand. Um, yeah, I mean that. The first time I saw them live, they were touring that album. They were opening up for Converge on the Perseverance tour, and I remember the next day going to Tower Records and buying every Converge CD they had on the shelf, including Poacher Diaries, which eventually led to me finding out who Agoraphobic Nosebleed and Pig Destroyer were. So
Hmm.
those
Funny
Converge
how that
guys.
works.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, that's a small world, but.
Yep. Yep. All right, up next, one of the top 5 shows that I've ever been to in my entire life. One of the absolute coolest fucking things I ever got to witness live on August 9th of 2022. My wife and I made a trip to Red Rocks in Denver, Colorado, and we witnessed in person the coolest fucking thing. South Park, the South Park 25th celebratory anniversary show, featuring Primus and Ween, being on stage both separately and together, performing with Matt Stone and Trey Parker, otherwise known as DVDA. Um, this show was just, I mean, every time I go back and like watch videos from this on my phone, and just like I get goosebumps still to this day, you know. And the set list for both nights, like the show that we saw, there were songs that were performed that night that aren't on this, and it was just, like, to know that I got to see certain things performed live that didn't get distributed to the public. It was really cool, you know. But this has been pressed twice. The first run was on what was called a Towley Blue vinyl. Um, this was 24 when they released this on Record Store
Record
Day.
store. Yep, yep.
And in 24, and then just recently I found out that they did just a standard black pressing, and I had to grab one of those as well, just because of the importance of this show. Not only was it South Park is hands down the longest running show that I've mostly kept up with. I mean, I as of like a couple of months ago, I went through and I watched everything. I watched all the specials on Paramount. I watched the seasons that I just kind of fell off of not of really paying attention to, and it's definitely the longest running show that I've kept up with. This podcast that you're watching, I mean, the name of our podcast is South Park related. You know, there's South Park things behind me. There's just a very influential show or TV show for me, and to see this in person was just incredible. And I absolutely had to talk about the vinyl release of this performance
Oh yeah.
on the show. So,
So influential that I got a South Park tattoo. I mean,
and I do not have South Park tattoos, so Nick is one up on me, and a lot of history on that tattoo.
yeah, you don't want to go down that run.
You don't want to go down. You don't want to look at that tattoo.
Ah, you had to be there, folks. All right. Good stuff, Jeff. All right. Next thing I'm going to talk about another record store day release. A lot of these fucking live albums are record store day releases, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just how it goes. Rage Against the Machine, live on tour, 1993. The first track is Bomb Track in Washington D.C. on March 5th, 1993. I wish I could say I was at this show, but I was only 12 years old, and I'm pretty sure my parents would have been like, "You're not going to that." Killing in the Name, Take the Power Back, Settle for Nothing, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up, Fistful of Steel, Township Rebellion, Freedom. They've got live tracks from all over the country, and yeah, this is the gatefold there. Pretty cool shot of them. The
Mhm.
fourth side has an etching.
Oh, very cool. I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah. Um, this is good stuff. Rage Against the Machine was a band that I picked up on at a very young age. Never heard anything quite like this. Their songs just had such a powerful message, and you know, musically, everything about this band, I was just like head over heels with. I mean, I just can't describe what this band means to me. I saw them 2 days in a row a couple years ago when they went out on tour, and Zach had to sit the whole show because he hurt his ankle. But I, you know, anytime they release something new that it's relevant to me, at least I will buy it because I am, like I said, this huge influence to me as a kid, and I remember many years I would meet women who love this band, which is a hard thing for me to get find women who like the same music as me. But shout out to Kate. She's a huge Rage Against the Machine fan. That's one of the first things that bonded me and her together was just our love for this band. But yeah, this is really cool stuff. This is all first album live stuff because 1993. That's all they had out was the first record. But
Mm.
happy to have that.
Um, Real quick about speaking about women liking the same music and Rage Against the Machine. My wife and I, Mrs. LaGrange and I, whenever we travel, like even across town or across the country or whatever, we always listen to Lithium on the Lithium channel, the '90s channel on Sirius XM, and Tom Morello has his own show on there called the One Man Revolution. And whenever he comes on, it's always just like a collective, like between the two of us because mostly like okay he plays some cool stuff here and there but like a lot of it's just like what the fuck is this. Ugh, and a lot of it's stuff that he's doing now. It's stuff that he's like done within the last decade or whatever, but it's like collaborative songs with other people or stuff from his Night Watchman, and I'm not a fan. Like I mean I've even after subjecting us to his solo stuff on Lithium, I'll go back and like it can't all be that bad, and it is. It's not Rage Against the Machine. It doesn't do it, the thing, and it doesn't. He shouldn't be pigeonholed into that category, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm
No,
saying about like
I'll say this. I wasn't a huge fan, but I really appreciated Audio Slave. I got to see them live at a festival once, and I was just like,
absolutely.
what? That really, when seeing them live, really like just made me a bigger fan of what I already was. Because
Right.
when I first heard about it, I didn't think how could this be good, But it was really good.
I'm sure it was. I never got to see Audio Slave. I like Audio Slave. I really do. But it's like his other stuff. It just the
Uh,
folky, you know,
no, yeah, for sure.
not into it. But
I,
anyway, moving on. The last live album that I am going to talk about is this was recorded. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just read this. On April 27, 2000, Nine Inch Nails performed a special studio session at the Chicago Recording Company as part of the Live 101 series, a live series by Q101, a Chicago alternative rock station. The session was not broadcast on the radio. One or more tracks may have been intended for the Live 101 CD series, but none appeared on thereafter. This is a bootleg from that recording session in Chicago, technically live, not performed. There could have been people in the studio, I'm sure, but this was all filmed in one take. This was never programmed. They didn't have isolated studio or isolated tracks to master everything, and so it counts. Kids, we're gonna let this count. There are 6 tracks on this live Chicago studio session. Something I Can Never Have, The Day the World Went Away, Even Deeper, The Big Come Down, The Fragile, and Hurt. I mean, it's fucking amazing lineup of songs. And this is numbered. I have number 203 of 250, which is pretty cool. This is obviously a bootleg. I don't think this was ever given an official release, whether on any format. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it may have been on CD or CDRs or something, but as far as vinyl, it was never given an official release. So to have this on vinyl and even like the almost official or the pseudo official looking Nine Inch Nails sticker here, this is like something that they would do. But it's a cool little thing to have, and I would just wanted to go into a little further depth as to when I premiered this as like a new acquisition. So Nine Inch Nails CRC sessions, very cool thing to have.
sure, good stuff. All right,
All right,
last thing I got here. One of my all-time favorite live albums. Really happy to grab this copy. A couple of years ago, Nuclear Blast Records released the entire Slayer discography on clear vinyl, and every one of them was numbered out of 666. So one of the ones that I quickly grabbed was Decade of Aggression, which this is this is such a fucking good live album. It's four discs. Well, originally it's 2 CDs, but on vinyl it's 4 sides. I'm not going to read off every track. Most of you should know what this is. It says recorded live at the Lakeland Coliseum in Lakeland, Florida on July 13th, 1991. Kind of sounds like two separate shows, but I have number 39 of 666. And like I said, it was pressed on clear vinyl. Well, not friends and family, but still pretty fucking rad.
Hmm.
This record is just, it's full of bangers. They were on tour touring Seasons in the Abyss at the time, so everything from Die by the Sword up to up to Seasons in the Abyss is on this, and I mean they don't disappoint. One of my most favorite things was the first song. They open up with Hell Awaits and goes to Antichrist, and then they take a little bit of a pause and talk to the crowd before they start playing War Ensemble. And Tom Araya says one of the coolest things I've ever heard anybody say, and it's, "Hey, if you see anybody fall down, help them out. We're here to do help each other out." And I was like, when you think about Slayer, you think about fucking destruction and killing people and all this other fucking crazy shit, Satan, and the fact that he threw that little help each other out. Don't if you see somebody falling and getting hurt, which almost every Slayer show I've seen in the pit, people fall down and people just trample all over them because they don't give a fuck. Uh, but to hear Tom Araya throw out that nice little help them out and all that shit, I love it. I love it. It was made me respect this band a hell of a lot more. But
For sure.
there you go.
I had that on CD as a kid.
It's a good fucking CD.
It
I mean,
is,
it's good. It's a
dude.
good live album. And and
Yeah.
and I wish there was more live albums that we could talk about. I know that there's a hell of a lot more that I wish I owned, like Live After Death, which I pre-ordered from Walmart, and they just kept delaying and delaying, so I finally canceled it. I was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm not gonna wait for you slow motherfuckers to send me my shit." But
Mhm.
it is what it is. I feel like five is a good number that we can do here. Not even a good odd number that we can do here with this show because we talk about a lot here.
We
Um,
do. We do.
Jeff, did you buy any new albums since the last time we recorded an episode?
I have a few. Um, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into this. So go ahead and start off with one that was a pretty torturous situation for the individual who got this for me. I got a text from a buddy of ours last week, I think. Champ Morgan text me. I was at work. I was working. I didn't see the text until break. But an hour after he texted me, he said, do you want this? Do you need this? And like I texted him back an hour later, and I said, are you still there? Like, are you still at the store, or is it too late? He goes, I just left. He goes, do you need that? And I responded with, no, I don't really need it, but it'd be cool to have. 5 minutes later, he calls me. He says, I drove back to the fucking store and bought this for you, you son of a bitch. Nirvana. This is the John Peel sessions from fall of 1989 in London, England. Side A is Love Buzz and About a Girl. Side B is Polly and Spank Through. The original, this is an obvious bootleg. I mean, this has been pressed, I think, once officially, and the cover was a little different. Like you could see more of the naked lady, the lady with the things. But yeah, this was an
The
original disc
boobs.
500. This is a black vinyl with the black label. Pretty cool thing to have. Again, wasn't a necessity, but it would have been cool to have. And shout out Champ, thanks for grabbing that for me. Um,
Boobs.
Boobs, exactly. I mean, what straight male are doing to see some boobs, or women, or whatever? Who don't want to see them? Aardvarks even like boobs. So up next, another odd size format. This is a 10-inch. This is a 10-inch sampler from a 2009 tour between Nine Inch Nails, Jane's Addiction, and Street Sweepers Social Club, which I didn't know. I had no idea who this is until I looked it up on Wikipedia. And this is Tom Morello. That son of a bitch is getting more notoriety in this episode, and a rapper of some sort from a group called the Coup. COUP. I have no idea who this other guy is, but there's two songs from each band on this 2009 sampler, which I would assume was like little cardboard CDs that they would give out at shows or whatever. But
Oh,
this is a bootleg. This is numbered 160 out of 250. Um, Jane's Addiction. The first song is Chip Away. 9 Inch Nails, Not So Pretty Now. Oh, it's such a good song. Street Sweeper is Clap for the Killers. Side two is Jane's Addiction's Whores. 9 Inch Nails, Non-Entity, and Street Sweeper, The Oath. It's a cool little collection of 6 songs, 2 songs from each band. Um, really cool thing. I haven't even opened it yet. I haven't even got to play the vinyl yet. But moving on, the next bootleg in the bootleg thing that I'm going to do, Marilyn Manson alternate Antichrist. So what this is a collection of demos and B-sides, instrumentals, stuff that just did not make it onto Antichrist Superstar. And there's a note at the bottom here that says, taken from the private recordings of Scott Mitchell Putsky, aka Daisy Berkowitz.
Hmm.
So a lot of these are tracks that he provided years after I'm sure Antichrist came out. But some of the I haven't listened to this either yet. But Heaven on the Brain, Irresponsible Hate Anthem, which was released at some point, an extended version of Tourniquet, Angel with the Scab Wings, P is for Porno, Little Black Spots, The Minute of Decay, and just a lot of cool shit. And I'm excited to get into this. I just haven't had time between work and being sick and blah 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 blah. Piss ass. And really excited to have alternate Antichrist.
Angel
Up
with Scab Wings is such a fucking great song.
it was absolutely. Up next, these 2 vinyl have already made an appearance on the show, so I'm not going to go real hard into these. These were the Merch albums that Nick talked about a couple of weeks ago that he said he would send to me, and he did. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Merch. I'm excited to get into these records as well. Check out some new grind. I love me some grind. Thanks to my co-host who gave me the heads up whenever this was reissued by Interscope Records a couple weeks back or a couple months back. The Bloodhound Gang One Fierce Beer Coaster was reissued. Was this the 30th anniversary?
1996. So yeah.
It had to have been 30, around the 30th, regardless. This is on a Bone White. This is the first copy of the Bloodhound Gang album that I have on vinyl, but I am stoked to have One Fierce Beer Coaster on vinyl. Up next, a couple days ago, my wife and I made a trip to Columbia. I stopped in to see my friends at Hit Records and picked up the Claypool Lennon Delirium, a used copy for $25, which was absolutely not bad at all. I've dabbled in Claypool Lennon. I'm excited to get more into that album. Also from that session or whenever I was at Hit Records, I picked up the reissue of Ween's Chocolate and Cheese. This is just a standard black, and I took the hype sticker and strategically placed it here in the center where it wasn't like blocking any important part of the artwork here in the top left hand corner, because this is where it was. It was like blocking this and can't have it. So I
Mm.
strategically moved it in the middle where it was not blocking any of
Boobs.
the boobs. Yeah, I didn't want to say it out loud. Melanie's in the other room, but yeah, Chocolate and Cheese. Excited to have a copy of that on vinyl. What else did I get from Hit Records the other day? This one. So I came across a copy of Metallica's Kill 'Em All that the top corners looked kind of dinged up and looked like it had been shown a lot of love. And I was like, ooh, this looks like old as hell. And so I picked it up and I did some research at Hit Records before I bought it. But I got home and come to find out it is a 2001 pressing, but it's 180 gram. I'm sure it sounds awesome. I'm excited to have my second copy of Kill 'Em All on vinyl, because the other one that I have was the Walmart pressing, which is great. But to have an official pressing of Kill 'Em All is rad. What are we going to do next? So up next is my second copy of one of the greatest films ever made, the soundtrack from the Dust Brothers for Fight Club. Fucking love Fight Club. Love everything about this movie. Haven't opened this yet because, belly aching about being work and sick and blah, blah, blah. But very excited to have a second copy of the soundtrack for Fight Club. Up next, Regurgitate Sickening Bliss. This was re-released last year. Last year.
Mhm.
They released this on a standard black vinyl, and then this beautiful fucking thing. It's a yellow and pink splatter. I scored this off of Discogs, and the one that I got, the one that I purchased was the only one available in the States. So excited for that. Excited to have a copy of this that is not the clear. Um, awesome album. And last but not least, I think I saved the best for last. My second copy of Tripod. This came from the band's official website. This was released by the band themselves. This was only available on their website. But
Let's
this
see it.
one is the purple,
Merge.
purple and yellow.
Hmm.
Dude, I mean, it is so nice. It is such a great pressing. Um,
Normally, I'm not a fan of merged vinyl, but that those two colors together look actually really good.
dude, and I mean, just
Oh
again,
yeah.
the
Show more of that side. That looks great.
yeah, the nostalgic, you know, aspect of this. Like for those of you that know that 30 years ago, whenever they released the CDs and the cassettes, you either got a purple shell or a yellow shell, and it was very cool of them to take that aspect and to merge those into the vinyl is just incredible. It really, I am very excited that I was able to score a copy of this on their website because I mean, whenever it was first put up, I mean, it was gone. People, it just sold out quick. And then a couple weeks later, they put up some more, and then they were gone. It just very, very, very highly sought after pressing of this album. Very excited to have it. I almost didn't open it. I almost didn't open it, but I had to see what the vinyl looked like. I wanted to see what my copy turned out to look like. So essential, essential album, Tripod. That's it.
Self-titled. I don't know why he calls it tripod.
Everybody calls it Tripod. Do you know the story of why that dog
Yeah, he
has
calls
only
it
has
tripod.
three legs?
I
Do you know
don't.
why?
I've seen the pictures of them. There's like behind the scene photos of them hanging out with the dog and all, but
So the story I read from Jerry Cantrell was that there were rumors flying around that before that album was released that Lane had left the band,
hmm
and that was what the three of the four, that was to symbolize Lane not being there, or to feed into the rumors that Lane had either died or just left the band or whatever. But yeah, the three of the four members were still there without Lane. That was supposed to be like a play on words or
but there's like
an ironic take.
famous promo photos of all of them with that dog, even Lane.
Right, right
So,
after it had come out. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Awesomeness. All right, I got quite a few things to share. A couple weeks back, I started collecting these reissues of Pantera albums that I think Revolver did. Great Southern Trendkill on white and sandblasted orange marble. And last night, Mr. James Watson pointed out to me that this album is missing Suicide Note Part 1. It only has Suicide Note Part 2 on here. So that was a little odd to me. I don't know why they did that.
mm,
I didn't have enough time to do research on it. But the double LP that I have on my shelf definitely has both Suicide Notes on there. I also got uh, the Revolver pressing of Far Beyond Driven, which happens to be my favorite Pantera album. This is
mhm.
white and stronger than blue marble vinyl. There you go. Um, good
Right on.
stuff. This band Internal, I talk about them all the time. This is a punk album a punk cover album that they put out, and there's like a picture disc version and then random colored vinyl. Mine's like dark green. Uh, I remember I sent this to Blake Harrison before he passed away, and he was super stoked because originally when he put it out, he only put it out on digital. Like this guy's like a Bandcamp person, so he's got a lot of stuff on there. Bad Brains, Project X, No for an Answer, Agnostic Front, JFA, NYC Mayhem, DRI, Youth of Today, Negative Approach to the Sentence, The Abused, Government Issue, Negative Effects, Void, Gangrene, Crippled Youth, Straight Ahead, SSD, and Napalm Death. It's two sides. All those dead elephants in the background and that little hyena there. This guy always with his hyenas.
Wow.
I'm really stoked on these. I could not believe that I scored this. Strapping Young Lads SYL. This came from Listenable Records. This is a clear with uh, blood red splatter all over it. This album fucking rules. I was so stoked to get that. On top of getting that, I got Alien. This is a double LP. This was a little harder to see, but it's red with. Take it out. It's red with black splatter. I don't know how you feel about Strapping Young Lad. I think they're a fucking phenomenal band. Devin Townsend might be one of the most brilliant songwriters in metal. I scored a copy of Cannibal Corpse Vile. This is the first album they did with Corpse Grinder. This is a gray with red splatter, or silver with red splatter, according to the hype sticker there. I still have a shit ton of Cannibal Corpse records coming in the mail. Those are all on pre-order. Something a little controversial here. I've talked about how one of my favorite post Nirvana-ish bands is Local H. In 1996, they put out this album, As Good as Dead. The people over at Enjoy the Ride Records pressed this, and the day before the pre-orders went up, somebody from Local H posted on their Instagram, "It would be good if we would have known about this." And then Enjoy the Ride Records made some comment, "Oh, we sent you a DM about a year ago. You guys should have checked it." I think that's kind of a scumbag move. I know it's a little shitty of me to buy this, but I fucking have been wanting this album on vinyl forever, and the resale on the original pressings, or the first time they pressed it, are just out of this world. This one is a red, black, white swirl,
That's a
and
cool
then
pressing.
yeah, I like it. And then this other one is a quarter haze with splatter. So I bought both
Hmm.
pressings. Enjoy the ride. They like to spice things up, but according to Local H, they just remastered it and they're going to press it on their label soon. So obviously, I'm going to buy that too. I'd love to support that band. They're a fucking great band. I've seen them live a couple times. They're coming through soon. I might want to go see them again. Next thing I got, Ghostface Killer's Iron Man. This is his first solo album. This is on opaque yellow vinyl. Uh, right now I've been like listening to a lot of Wu Tang. I bought Apple Music, and so I have shit to listen to while I'm at work. And I've just been listening to all the Wu Tang solo albums, and I was like, God damn, I forgot how good this is. Um, Good stuff. I'm really when I was a kid, I had this poster on my door. It's Ghostface, Capadonna, and Raekwon, and my mom could never understand why I had this on my door. It was just like I love this album as a kid. Stoked to finally have it on vinyl. Ooh, this is a cool one. Um, we talked about this recently. I have License to Ill and Hello Nasty box sets, and now I have the Check Your Head box set. Um,
Cool.
this is huge. It's got a ton of stuff in here. I'm not going to go through it all, but very happy to have this and add this to my collection. The original version of this that came out in I think '09 or '06. Some of them came with 7 inches that came directly from one of the three guys' personal collection. So
Oh,
I've seen
wow.
them on eBay, and people are like, they sell them for like outrageous prices. But I got I think this one came out maybe like, I don't know, it was a couple years ago, and I missed out on it, but I found it for a fairly decent price on Discogs. Next thing, since Jeff brought up Bloodhound Gang, I tracked down a copy of their very first album, Use Your Fingers.
No
Uh,
shit.
just a standard black vinyl. We were talking about getting records sent from Japan. I ordered this on a Friday, and it showed up on my doorstep on a Monday, and through a fucking snowstorm, I might add. But really
Wow.
fucking stoked to have this album. This was I remember when I first heard One Fierce Beer Coaster, and I went back to the record store to see what else they had, and I found this. This is a great fucking album. I mean, there's some goofy tracks on here. Most notably, "You're Pretty When I'm Drunk."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's
That acapella shit, man. That fucking, dude, it's so good. So good.
the lyrics to that song are just over the fucking top hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of skits on here. They did that Kids Incorporated cover. There's like a previously unreleased bonus B-side independent European import bootleg outtake, which is just sounds from a porno, if I remember correctly. Um, Stoked to have this. This is, but
Man,
I guess I have all the Bloodhound Gang albums that I want now. I never really listened to anything after Hooray for Boobies, but you know, still cool shit. This is a record store day release, and it's a live album. What the fuck's going on here? Are we living in the deja vu world? Uh, Van Halen live in Dallas, 1991. This was a free show that they played in the marketplace of Dallas, and you can see the videos of this all over whatchamacallit, YouTube. The version that they do of Pound Cake on here is one of the coolest sounding versions of that song I've ever heard. Last side has a cool etching of their logo. Um,
hmm
I brought this up with Jeff the other day. They're about to release another this year's Record Store Day. They're going to release another live album from 1986, and it's a little odd to me that Alex Van Halen has a big problem with Sammy Hagar, but all the live albums that they keep releasing are Sammy albums.
Sammy Hagar.
Maybe
Right.
I mean, like, I think you brought up a good point. Maybe Dave wanted more money to put out a live album, but I was a fan of the era that they did with Sammy. Next up, Gangstar, Hard to Earn. I believe our good pal Chris Moore shared this record on his episode. I got a white vinyl pressing of it. This is a really fucking classic hip hop album. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Uh-oh, Jeff. I also got Tripod, but mine came with this cool yellow cover. I don't know how that happened. Um, Mine's the splatter version. It's yellow with black splatter all over it. And like Jeff said, when you got it back in the day, you either had the yellow or the purple cover. Mine is yellow.
How did you do that?
You got it, friends and family, all that good shit.
This fucking episode will never see the light of day if you don't tell me how you did that.
Megadeth's last album, it's self-titled Megadeth. Shout out to Mr. Dirk. This is a cool looking pressing. It's all fire splattery and shit.
Yeah, that's
Um,
rad.
this doesn't have any of the cool bonus tracks like the ones that Jeff has, but it does have their cover of Ride the Lightning. And last but not least, an album that I've been wanting to own on vinyl for a long time, and I think at this point this is going to complete my collection of Between the Buried and Me albums that I like. The Great Misdirect. This is just a standard black vinyl, but I love this album. Today at work, I was listening to the live version of it, and I was like, oh god, I should have just listened to this version. Um, this is a great album. I've seen every song off this album perform live, not all at once, but through like the 3 or 4 times that I saw them touring this album, I've seen them perform every song off this album. It's good shit. This is for the longest time, this was like one of my favorite albums that they did. Even though I once the Sleep Dialogues Part Two or the Hyper Parallax Part Two, that's easily my favorite one. But the songs on this album are just so fucking good. They're all very long, and it feels like an EP, even though it's not. It's like I think 30, 40 minutes long. But that's it for me. All my new shit.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna find out how you did that yellow cover shit. Or like I said, nobody will ever see any of our live fucking vinyl. That's cool, man. Very
Yeah,
cool.
this was a very since what, like, I don't know how many weeks ago it was we did an episode together, but like I don't know how I have a lot of stuff that were on either on pre-order or just got a bonus truck at work. So I just bought a lot of shit lately, but I've been
Mhm.
sitting on a lot of stuff that I wanted to share here for a while, and some the more we delayed this episode, I was just like, yes, Jeff, good idea, because I'm getting more shit in the mail soon. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
I love I love me some vinyl.
it's okay.
Well,
Expensive
yeah,
and awkward, but yeah, it's I love vinyl too.
I I stand by. It's the best way to listen to your music.
It is.
So
It is
uh,
for sure.
I mean, I wish I could travel with all this shit in my car, but at the same time, I don't because I don't want all my records to get warped like Travis Ryan. But
Yeah, yeah, don't do that. Uh, before the end of the episode, since I am trying to get caught up on Mike Patton, show everybody your shirt.
well, before I do that, you show everybody your awesome black metal shirt because I want everybody to see what your shirt says.
Yeah, this was like I came across this a week or so ago, and the guy, this is a cool story. Like the guy only had the company is called Interloper Designs. Whenever I came across this, it was like an ad on like Instagram or Facebook or some shit. Whenever I went to his website, all he had was hoodies, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna start getting warm again. Like I want this on a t-shirt. So I messaged him. I'm like, dude, what are the chances of getting that on a t-shirt? And the next day he messaged me and he said, I just put these up for you. And I'm like, no shit, cool. So this is the title of this shirt is called Short and Sweet. It is Sabrina Carpenter. It's a Sabrina Carpenter death metal logo, and I am so fucking excited to have this Sabrina Carpenter death metal logo. And dude, okay, the thing of this is $21. It was $21 for the shirt, and it's a fucking comfort colors. It is. I was so
Nice.
excited when I got it and
Oh
opened
yeah.
up. I'm like, oh my god, these things are normally like 30 or 40 bucks a piece, but yeah, absolutely worth $28 total for shipping. Interloper Designs. This is awesome. This is an awesome fucking logo.
Oh yeah. All right.
So
Real quick to please Jeff. In 1991, Metallica played this show in Oakland called Day on the Green. They were promoting the Black album because it had just dropped. It's got Queensryche, Faith No More, and Soundgarden. All these bands had just put out like tip top records in their discography. This is a very famous poster, but I wanted to get it because it had Queensryche, Faith No More, and Soundgarden on top of Metallica as well. Pretty fucking rad stuff, but yeah, to please my co-host here, I wore something Mike Patton related just to there you go,
hey.
cutesy wootsy. But that is
All
it.
right. That's
That
it.
is our episode this week. Got anything to add, sir?
No, I got nothing. It's almost right at an hour. Look at that.
Yeah,
Almost
we're
right at
almost
an
at an
hour.
hour here, so let's try to save people's time here. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Jeff,
Thank you, Nick.
and we will see you all next week.
Yep. All right. See you guys.
When the final thing,